What do butterflies eat, and do they hatch out of cocoons?
Oh, did you hear that?
Harley wants to know about butterflies. The little girl with the blue headband sits on the floor with her 4- and 5-year-old classmates. Teacher Mark Weddleton writes their questions on a dry erase board.
All right, that's a good question. We should find that out. That's good.
At this age, Mark says the children are sponges, soaking up whatever is around them.
The children are absolutely magical. And you get to see the world through their eyes. It's one of the reasons I love this age, because they're discovering everything.
Henry, what is this coming out here? What's that?
Mark is part of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln research program called Getting Ready, designed to help children succeed when they move on to elementary school. The program was developed at UNL in 2004, and 15 years later, UNL Research Associate Professor Lisa Knoche says evidence points to the program's effectiveness.
We've seen positive outcomes in parent-child relationships. We've seen outcomes in children's social skills, their early literacy skills, and we've also seen the confidence of educators improve.
Intervention research like the Getting Ready program tackles complex problems. The answers aren't always easy to find, but it's the kind of challenge Dr. Knoche loves to take on.
I think the beauty lies in the messiness. I think we can really find new and surprising things when we have a chance to really dig in and embrace the unanticipated.
Find out more about UNL's leadership in early childhood research and what Dr. Knoche thinks we could all learn by going back to preschool. I'm Mary Jane Bruce, and this is Faculty 101.
Okay, you should switch partners now.
To be able to inspire young people.
Here's your finals.
It's really rewarding.
I love the students.
Welcome to Faculty 101, life hacks and success stories from Nebraska faculty. Time for orientation. Who is Lisa Knoche?
I am a research associate professor in the Nebraska Center for Research on Children, Youth, Families, and Schools, and I direct the Nebraska Academy for Early Childhood Research.
Dr. Knoche wants to get the best evidence-based information into the hands of child development professionals, parents, teachers, and community leaders.
Well, I'm completely passionate about research. It is it's what gets me up in the morning, I guess.
In addition to her own projects, Dr. Knoche helps faculty researchers get what they need to do the job, from crafting a grant proposal to finding collaborators. She says multidisciplinary research is critical.
The issues that families face, the issues that children encounter, teachers are confronting, schools are confronting, are very complex issues. And so it takes a team of specialists to come together to think about solutions to those problems and test those solutions.
And if you think research is only for laboratory science, Dr. Knoche wants to set you straight. She says what's needed in child development is evidence-based information, the same standard you expect from the medical field.
You know, you could sort of compare it to a medical kind of model. If I went into the doctor and I have strep throat, I want you to give me what I know is going to work for strep throat. I don't want you to like, well, here's like 7 different things. You could try one of these. Maybe one of them's going to work. It's the same. That's really the same reason we need evidence-based kinds of information in early childhood settings. When there's a specific kind of need that child has or a behavior they're displaying, we want the best kind of information to go in and say, we know this works. We know there's going to be an effective outcome when you use this kind of approach.
Next up, office hours. How did Lisa Knoche get here? Dr. Knoche has long been interested in working with children, even as a child herself.
You know, once I got my babysitting certificate, I was good to go.
She majored in psychology and biology in college, but a job at a child-adolescent psychiatric ward sent her on a different path. The experience was intense and frustrating.
And being in that setting, it really became obvious that context was so important for these children because there were some that were kind of repeat. You know, they would show up every month, every couple of weeks, and we were working with them in that setting, but then sending them back to the exact same setting they had been in. And so the expectation for change didn't necessarily make a lot of sense. We need to really think about the system and change the system for these young children.
So it was back to graduate school in developmental psychology and a career working with the systems and relationships that shape childhood. Dr. Knoche is happy to see a growing focus on early childhood across the country and at Nebraska.
We have experts who are focused on early learning, things like math and science and literacy. We have experts in health and nutrition. We have experts on educational policy and social emotional kinds of skills, families, professional development. So we have the collection of researchers here at UNL in early childhood that it takes to think about and address these complex questions.
Next, lab work, a deep dive into research.
He has 6.
Yeah, that's right.
A card game helps 4-year-old Kamani Green learn his numbers.
And he has 7.
Who has 7?
And a heel.
His mother, Katie Schleicher, sits on her living room floor with Kamani and Becky White, an educator with Kamani's early childhood program.
I have 2.
This is a home visit where Katie and Becky share information, strategies, and success stories. It's part of the Getting Ready intervention I talked about earlier, and it's working. Katie sees improvement in her son.
We've been able to have the same goals and be working on the same things at the same time, so that way he's been able to progress more quickly. So now he's caught up with his peers and he'll be able to start kindergarten right where he needs to be.
Intervention research like the Getting Ready program puts strategies to work and measures the outcome. The challenge involves the wide variety of situations, what Dr. Knoche refers to as messiness.
We're working with real people in real settings, in real schools, in real programs, and so when you add all of those layers together, it creates something that can just present some challenges, but it's really those challenges that are most exciting to me. I think that intervention research for me also is really all grounded in relationships. So it's highly integrated into community settings. So those collaborations with community partners is something that really excites me about the research that I get to do. Trying to understand what's a priority to them, how we can answer questions that are going to make a difference in their lives and interactions with children and families.
Dr. Knoche is a project leader for the Early Learning Network, a multi-state research collaboration funded by the Department of Education's Institute of Education Sciences.
So there's these 6 teams across the country who are engaged in this research. Nebraska is one of them, and we're also the lead organization. So we hope to, through this work, identify what's going on within school districts across the nation that are promoting healthy, positive outcomes for children after they've kind of experienced and gone through that pre-K to grade 3 transition. That's really a hot topic in the field, how we can create continuous, seamless experiences for children.
Kingston, it was a very friendly butterfly.
Researchers are also tracking a group of children from preschool through grade 3 to compare with a second group of children who didn't attend preschool. Eventually, Dr. Knoche hopes the findings will help provide policies that help students succeed.
That's really the outcome, is to help provide information to school districts, to federal policymakers around practices and policies that need to be in place to best support children, particularly focused on that transition from pre-K to grade 3.
Researchers are also focusing attention on infants and toddlers to learn more about the best approach to childcare at an early age, whether it's home-based or a childcare setting. Another potential area of research relies on support from the Salivary Biosciences Lab at UNL's Center for Brain Biology and Behavior for help in studying the physiology of interventions.
We're just going to do some initial pilot work with our current study about looking at some of those physiological markers that parents and teachers might be showing during those interactions. So hopefully we would anticipate that through this collaborative kind of process, their stress response would be diminished over time. And so that's actually something we're going to be able to measure. So I'm excited about that. And it's not my area of expertise, so that's a great example of where you need team members to be able to come together to help with measurement and help us actually think about that. But that's a new frontier.
Now it's time for a pop quiz, random questions, life hacks, and wisdom for all of us.
Give a suggestion of something a parent can do to help their child succeed.
There's really so many things that parents can do. So if I pick one thing, would be to encourage and support their child's independence and autonomy. So allowing their child to have choice, allowing their child to struggle a bit, be able to offer a challenge but provide that support. If that child can make a choice and live with that choice, they're gonna end up being more confident and competent and happy. So, that might end up being going with the red cowboy boots to school with the plaid shorts, and it's gonna be okay. They're gonna make it through the day and be just fine.
What's a life hack or piece of advice for students?
I would encourage students to remember that it's all about relationships. I'll come back to relationships. I think that idea of making connections and creating experiences, whatever it is that you're doing, that you don't know when that information could ultimately be valuable or when that person could end up being someone that's important to your trajectory. So think about and make relationships.
And what's a life hack or piece of advice for all of us?
So I think the life hack is be kind. And when I'm in early childhood classrooms, I think we should actually all have to go back to an early childhood classroom, because some of the basic aspects of, classroom rules that are the focus apply to all of us today in an ongoing way. So our adult lives continue to be impacted by those very early precursor skills. So I'm going to stick with be kind, be open to other perspectives. They enrich your life. As a researcher, you ask better questions when you remain open to other kinds of perspectives. But I think as a human, you're better too.
And now, graduation day. Final thoughts from Lisa Knoche. Early childhood is a time for adventure and learning and fun. And thanks to research, generations of children are growing up with a base of support that will help them succeed. Lisa Knoche is proud of UNL's leadership and grateful to be a part of it.
I am happy to be here in Nebraska. I'm happy to be able to contribute in some positive way to the lives of children and families here within the state. I am really happy to be here at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. There's great people here. We have a great team within our research center and sort of the community at large. So having an opportunity to do research that has a potential impact on the lives of children and families is what's exciting every day.
That's it for this edition of Faculty 101. In the show notes, you'll find links to the Nebraska Center for Research on Children, Youth, Families, and Schools, the Nebraska Academy for Early Childhood Research, the Early Learning Network, and the Getting Ready program. Next time on the podcast, students tell the story of the Sandhills Cranes in a pop-up class led by 2 acclaimed faculty. Faculty 101 is produced by the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
We should all go back to preschool. It's like that sign, everything you learned in kindergarten. It's totally true.